Well, hello, friends. This is a new endeavor I've been thinking about for the longest time, and I'm going to try it out. I love listening to podcasts, and I've always wanted to record some. Actually, I have recorded some before, but I did not stay very consistent with them, of course, as necessarily a lot of people don't. But anyways, if you're watching this, I want you to actually listen rather than watch, because it's going to be just a lot of me talking. And I'm going to focus these podcasts on... I have so many stories about my career, my photography, that I've never told before or I didn't get in depth with. And there's so many... obstacles for me to do this, like the time to do it and the place to do it. Can't do it at my house because I have like no room to film this, and I never get alone time, which means like the cat meowing his head off at me wanting something. I just never really get time. But I have a decent ride to work, and I've always filmed stuff in my car, so I'm like, why not just do this in my car? So I'm gonna try this out, and I was inspired to do this by Steve-O from Jackass. He did, I think, a rolling podcast or something before. I thought that was kind of cool. Anyways, so I thought I would talk about how I got into the industry and how I've spread my personal brand in Toledo, Ohio. And I want to do a lot of educational stuff like this because I think I really have a passion for teaching people, but I barely ever get time to teach people. But like, I love the idea of podcasts and the fact that they just give you an opportunity to just talk and people learn from them. And there's so many times in our day when we listen to podcasts, and like the time, like an hour, half-hour long podcast isn't easy to digest, because you can do it while you're driving, or you can listen to it, whenever. So how I got started in this industry, I didn't get into film really until like, I don't know, maybe junior high. And it obviously, YouTube basically started it. Everyone's trying to pass this truck up here. YouTube basically started it. I think it really boiled down to watching Michael Bay films and feeling something from them. Because I've always been a creative person. I used to love drawing and designing logos. I actually was this close to becoming a graphic designer. And to this day, I am still very passionate about graphic design. I mean, it's a part of my industry still. I still practice it almost daily. But yeah, and so basically, after YouTube became popular in like 2007, I found a guy by the name of Devin Supertramp. That's his YouTube username. His real name is Devin Graham. And seeing what he did, he would do like action sports videos and film people having fun and stuff like that. And you'll just have to like look him up to really understand what he does. But I'm like, you know what? That looks fun. I kind of want to do that. But I didn't end up really doing what he did, because it just took a lot, I guess. But I did end up filming a lot in his style, which at the time was using a glide cam, using wide angle lenses, and doing like glidey shots, which nowadays we use gimbals. But yeah, so I got into it, and of course, by that time, this was like, let's call it 2010. The media industry was not people weren't really encouraging their kids to get into it. It really, I mean, gosh, you watch, we all watch TV, we all watch movies, but yet, or even the news, nobody really encourages you to get into the media industry, even though you consume it on a daily basis. So, anyways, so I didn't really get a lot of support from my family, like a lot of encouragement from my family. Just because back then, I mean, I made the mistake of telling them all I wanted to be a YouTuber, which was not a good idea at the time, even though nowadays YouTubers make so much money, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. But anyways, I took a videography class in high school, did really well, and once the class was over, I'm like, I really enjoy this. How do I, what should I do next? Where should I go to college? Because, you know, obviously you're supposed to go to college after high school. And my teacher recommended me Specs Howard, which is up in Detroit. Not a lot of people know about it, but there are a few well-known people who have gone there. But I went to Specs Howard, and real small school. I think it's changed a lot now, but it's a real small school, and you felt like you were walking into a doctor's office when you walked into the school. Like, it was very small. I think my class had about 8 people or so in it, and maybe, other than myself, 1 or 2 other of those people are still in the industry today. But yeah, so I did that, and after I graduated, I was one of the top of my class, which I say that, but like, it really isn't. I mean, it is impressive if you think about it, but like, at the same time, given the amount of people in it and how serious they were, it's not. But anyways, so when I graduated, I didn't know a single person in like my hometown area that did film. I didn't know anybody, and that's a problem. You want to know people, and there was really not a lot of sources at the time. Like, I don't know if some of you might not know what Toledo Creatives is or Film Toledo was. There was none of that back then, none. So, but like, I was constantly practicing film and posting it on my social media, on like my Facebook account. And I don't remember how, but this organization called Real Ohio reached out to me and invited me to this networking event downtown Toledo. And Kim Sanchez was her name. I don't think she's around here anymore. But she invited me to this, and I was hesitant on going because it was downtown Toledo, and at the time I wasn't comfortable driving downtown Toledo. But also, I was kind of a shy kid, still sort of am, but I was shy. But before I even walked into the building, I talked to this one guy, and he was doing like a horror film, and he invited me on set. He's like, you're welcome to come on set and you know, help us out. And I'm like, sure. And that right there was, and by the way, I'm talking about a guy by the name of Chad Xavier. Chad, if you're watching this, thank you for everything. That decision to go on that set was a big milestone for my career. It really allowed me to meet people from the area, both crew and actors, actresses, and that really opened a big door for me and really started my career locally here. So I was on this film. It was a horror film, and I don't like scary movies. I've never watched them. I have anxiety, so like, I don't know, I just never really watched them. But I did get a lot of great experience of narrative films on this set, and I met people, which was one of the most important things. And a lot of you know probably my friend Anthony Wright Films. Him and I met on that set. we just kind of started talking to each other, and he showed me some stuff he did, and I was like, wow, that's cool, and we networked and, became friends. And I also met Vanessa Leonard on that set, and I did A Story Worth Living with her, and just a bunch of people. I actually ran into somebody that I used to work with on that set the other day at Goodwill. But yeah, so I did that, and that opened a lot of doors for me. But what really got my career going was wedding films, which is very common. Most people who get into film start with weddings because most people get married, and wedding videos are a thing and people want them. So that's where Zach Films really started, because the first one I ever did was my oldest sister's, and I did hers for free. I tried doing my other sister's, but she brushed it off. She's like, why would we want our wedding filmed? But then she later admitted that she regretted it, but that's okay. I did actually record some of it, but not much at all. But I got started in wedding films, and that actually, when I had my own business, I never, when I first got into the industry, I wanted to be like Devin Supertramp, and I wanted to have a production team, but that's way easier said than done, and I didn't know what that really meant. But I actually did really well. Like with Zach Films, it was actually pretty successful. I did it full-time for barely a year, but I did it part-time for a few years, and the amount of support I got from family, friends, and the clients and the couples was just amazing, and people want to support you and help you, and my goodness, I got to doing about 11 weddings a year, and that was a very secure and steady thing, obviously, until COVID, but it was very steady. Like, I was always comfortable knowing that I would get weddings, and looking back, I was very good at the creative part, but not so much at the business and financial part of it, because people probably think I'm this rich guy because I used to film weddings, but I was always a person that liked to have a second shooter. It just makes the process easier, in my opinion. But I wasn't really good with like the financial part of it, like how much to charge and how to properly cut a portion for your second shooter. So that just didn't. Looking back, could have been way better. But anyways. But yeah, so once 2020 hit and weddings weren't really going on much, I also kind of wanted to get into other stuff, because spending most of my time doing weddings, I wanted to just see what else was out there, and I knew other things were out there. And I didn't just do weddings, I did other stuff, but yeah, I ended up getting into like other social media work I tend to work with mostly nonprofits, doing videos for nonprofits, Wood County Museum and a few others, and that also went really well. But then, of course, TAM quickly snatched me up, and I've always wanted to work with them, and this type of work they do is, for the most part, up my alley. Excuse me. The type of work they do is right up my alley with drones and stuff. So that was an amazing. I remember when I first met them, like back in like 2013 or 14 or something. My mom always asked me, she's like, you should ask if they're hiring. And I was like, oh, I doubt they're hiring. They're too good for me or whatever. But here I am working for Toledo Aerial Media, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's how I got in the industry. The best advice I have if you're watching this and you're trying to get it is just make something. Use your phone, buy a camera if you really want to, but it's not mandatory. Phones are good now. Use your phone, make something, edit it, put it out. Even if you're not sure if it's perfect, just do something and put it out there. I hope you're into social media, because social media is how I got noticed. It's the easiest way to get noticed because it's a platform that's free, and this is YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Just keep posting, and keep doing your thing, keep filming, figure out what it is that you love to do. Or even you might have to get yourself going, you kind of just have to accept every gig that comes your way unless you absolutely don't want to do it or something. But just make stuff, get yourself out there. You'll be surprised how quickly you go from not knowing anybody to walking around downtown or wherever and saying hi to people, or just having people know you, I guess. The film industry is an industry where you kind of can't wait for an invitation. You really have to just go for it and show up, and maybe be slightly annoying, I don't know, in a good way though. Like, just keep showing up and keep posting and be consistent. Tag people that are involved, and if you do all that, eventually you'll get noticed. I make it sound easy. It's not easy. There'll be plenty of times when you feel like it's not working, like you feel like you should just quit and find something else, like you feel like it's just not happening. But I promise you, if you keep going at it, you'll get there. And I always tell myself, if I quit, I am completely wiping my chances of getting there. So just keep going, and you'll get it. I think that's about all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you made it through this whole podcast, and I appreciate you if you did. I might make this a somewhat regular thing because I feel like this really worked out well for me. So if you have anything that you want me to talk about, let me know. I do have a few ideas coming up of things I want to talk about with my career and stuff. But if you have any questions for me or any topics you want me to cover, let me know, and I'd be happy to do that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.